We unlock Stage Select after we finish the story mode, which means we can play any of the story missions with any character we please. And that means we're going to play Hard Mode with Max. Now, Hard Mode in Max Anarchy is... I would hesitate to call it part of the same game as the regular story mode. It's just that much more ruthless. The AI is insanely improved to the point that you could spend several hours on a single mission, and you become so familiarized with the enemy's moveset that you learn to dodge before they even twitch. So of course I'm going to show you how to break it. I guess Big Bull's going to retreat for a second because we were kicking his ass, so I'm going to show you a mechanic I neglected to show you in the story mode. We can taunt kill seekers, and they will gather in a single spot for us. Yeah, that's the stuff. This is by far the easiest way to kill seekers, and it's especially useful in hard mode because they take a lot more hits. Max's most powerful normal combo is just heavy heavy. It deals a lot of damage and it has massive knockback. So, how you break the bosses in hard mode is simply using Max's charge tackle. Because his charge tackle is not a charge tackle. It's a counter, as you've been seeing repeatedly. And something I found out while playing story mode is that while you use your charge tackle, the enemy is programmed to either do the same or simply charge right at you. And because of this, all of the bosses run right into your counter, meaning you either flip them in the air where you can juggle them, or you stun them, because Max's counter has 2 levels. The first level just flips the enemy in the air. The second one stuns them with electricity. The counter does have a slight charge up, but I do mean slight. You only really need a second of spare time. This tactic applies to pretty much every single boss fight in the game. Unfortunately, Max's counter does not work on normal kill seekers, but I'm not going to be exhibiting any of the non-boss missions. If you want to get your ass beaten in because you were naive enough to choose hard mode on Max Anarchy, that's your fault. I'm just here to show you how to break the boss fights. There is one boss fight that this doesn't work with, but I've also found a way around that. But you know how I'm going to take out Big Bull by now. I use the counter, and if I can't use the counter, I just punch him once or twice, then grab him, so that way I have time to counter. So let's see what it's like to fight someone a little bit tougher. The Baron is a bit more maneuverable than Big Bull, which makes him a bit tougher. Of course, he's on fire right now, which yes, I assure you I did do on purpose. For the few people who did play hard mode, I imagine this boss fight was the bane of their existence. But with Max, you just completely break it. The Baron's charge tackle is also not a charge tackle, it's a counter of sorts too. Unfortunately, the computer is completely incapable of comprehending that you might grab them while they try to counter. That just doesn't occur to their robot brains. So you try to use your counter, the Baron activates his counter, and then you just run up and grab him. Now this game is hyper-polished, and they probably didn't have time to playtest all of the 16 characters in story mode. I'm almost positive they couldn't have. So this oversight with the AI, that's forgivable. I doubt they could have envisioned that anyone would be doing this. In fact, as far as I know, I'm the only person who's actually discovered this exploit. Now, letting you go back and play the story mode missions as different characters is kind of genius, because the story mode missions have scores. So you can go back with characters that are better suited for individual missions and get higher scores. I consider this to be a relatively minor flaw in a game that I love a whole lot, and I doubt anybody else besides me would play it enough to find out this kind of thing. So, just for fun, I'm going to show you what they probably intended you to use stage select for, and I'm going to do it with that boss that I said you couldn't cheese out using max. Durga might be the hardest boss fight in hard mode. He's fast, all of his power attacks are projectiles, and it feels like he reads your button presses. He doesn't, but it sure as hell feels like it. When I said that you get so used to the character's movesets in hard mode that you learn to dodge before they even move, this is what I mean. I have fought Durga so many times on hard mode that I know exactly at which range he starts to use his power attack, and I can dodge it preemptively. Now, you might be wondering why I'm playing as Big Bull. This would seem to be the absolute worst possible decision when Durga is such a fast character. And Big Bull, I think, is the heaviest character, which means he has the highest defense. Durga's attacks are relatively weak, so he's going to have a really hard time breaking our guard, meaning we can just keep blocking and slowly advance on him until we find an opening. And I actually find it the easiest to defeat Durga with Big Bull, because he's just that durable. Now, hard mode made me realize something about Anarchy Reign's single-player design as a whole. There's a reason that they give you a certain number of tries, instead of expecting you to never get hit. Because even though there is a perfect rating, it's not reasonable to expect anybody to play these boss fights, or these missions, without taking damage. So you can still get hit all you want, provided you don't die and still get a platinum. And this is because the game design was primarily focused on multiplayer. So even though the single player in this game, at least on normal mode, is easier than other Platinum games, you're still going to get hit more than you would in other Platinum games, because the game design was not made for you to avoid getting hit entirely. Also, there was a glitch there and Durga's health reappeared. You normally don't get to see this section down here while you're fighting Durga, because you don't get this far away from where the fight starts. But if you get deep enough down here, you can avoid the bombings entirely. So yeah, that's hard mode, and if for some ungodly reason you decide to play hard mode yourself, I just showed you how to do it. If you need help with the non-boss missions, though, you're just flat out of luck. Just, prepare to lose a lot of hours. Thank you all so much for coming on this journey with me, and I'll see you soon.